You have to start trading the illusion of temporary productivity in exchange for long-term consistency and sustainable effort. That is, if you want to finally stop unnecessarily wasting your time and energy. This is something I talk about whenever I'm talking to people who have finally realized that willpower alone cannot take them to their goals. People who have seen for themselves that brute forcing productivity cannot work. People who have realized that they cannot always push and force their way into getting things done and moving towards their goals, but they have also realized that there is something else to be done that they haven't yet figured out. So, if you are one of those people, if you have finally come to terms with the fact that willpower isn't enough, listen to this. Once again, the main point. Start trading the illusion of temporary productivity for the sake of long-term consistency and sustainable effort. What does this mean? First thing, you need to learn how to walk away from tasks that are not getting done. And there is only one exception to this whole idea. The only exception is when you can honestly notice with yourself that the obstacle that you are dealing with, that the barrier that you're struggling with is boredom. When it comes to boredom, we need to learn to sit with boredom, and we need to learn to defeat boredom with endurance and patience and persistence. And I also know for a fact that you have enough self-awareness to make a distinction between boredom and other barriers, other obstacles that might be preventing you from engaging deeply in your task or finishing your task. We will get to other ones because this video is about dealing with them, but just to point out once again, boredom is a normal obstacle that you are supposed to face when engaging in tasks. Boredom is a necessary part of every journey, and you need to learn to once again sit with it and persist through it. However, if you are feeling overwhelmed, dysregulated, distracted, overall agitated in some way, if you're feeling irritated, if you're not sure how to approach that particular task, or if you're sitting in front of your laptop or in front of your notebook, not even knowing what specific task out of many to engage in, those are all of those other obstacles, all of those situations other than boredom. So once again, distraction, a big one. Being overwhelmed, stressed out, overstimulated, dysregulated. Here is the thing. You cannot, once again, brute force your way through these obstacles. Sometimes, some people, they have a greater capacity of quote-unquote just getting things done. But we often underestimate how good these people already are at resisting distractions, how good these people are at refusing to engage in overstimulating behaviors, leading to them being more stable. So when we look at these people who supposedly are better at just getting things done, usually their internal environment is way more stable. But for you, if you are struggling to engage in the task or complete the task because your internal environment is unstable, you need to learn and to start trading that illusion. So notice I didn't say trading temporary productivity. Even that would be worth trading. But we are trading the illusion of temporary productivity because you're struggling to get things done. You're struggling to gain momentum in your day and your daily tasks. So what I'm inviting you to do is find 1 to 3 activities that are applicable for you to use as a small self-regulation practice. Here, it's important to point out something that I have been pointing out across multiple videos. Self-regulation is not only meditation or deep breathing. It can be going on a walk. It can be a conversation with a friend or leaving a voice note to your friend. It can be journaling. It can be some different type of movement other than walking. Probably not intense movement. But anything that is constructive, that is healthy, that is personally relevant, that will help you to step away from the task, disengage mentally, cognitively, and emotionally from the task, and reset. And listen, if it needs to take 40 minutes or 60 minutes, so be it. Once again, let's sacrifice the illusion of temporary productivity. Because what we are trying to do is reset. We are trying to prevent what? Self-shame and self-judgment that would come as a result of spending 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours in front of your screen or your notebook and not getting anything done. And all of you watching this, including myself, have experienced this. Sitting for hours on end and not getting anything done. This produces a negative or unhealthy, even self-destructive downward spiral, where you are shaming yourself, judging yourself for not getting things done and wasting time. You're starting to consider yourself a failure, which only reinforces the idea that you will never get these things done. On the other side, if you handle the initial couple of minutes of discomfort and judgment for disengaging from the task, because some judgment will come up. Here I am walking away from the task. Oh, I went on a walk, or I'm doing a journaling session, or I went to, or I went to stretch. I'm wasting my time, I'm not productive. So some judgment will show up. But if you persist through initial 5 minutes, 10 minutes of self-judgment, and then engage in that other behavior for the next 15, 20, 30 minutes and reset properly, judgment will disappear because you will experience the benefits. And you will be able to do what? Well, once you've reset, you are able to approach the task with new energy, with new focus, with new clarity, with less or no sense of being overwhelmed. So on this side, handling the initial inner critic, the initial judgment of not doing quote-unquote productive things, but then managing to reset. On the other side, deceiving yourself that you are a disciplined person who isn't going to walk away from the task, but then wasting hours on not getting things done. And second, that producing immense self-judgment and self-shame, which produce that downward spiral. So your choice. Couple of minutes of self-judgment coming from the stupid inner critic and then managing to reset and have a far better day and far more productive day and an even better and even more productive day tomorrow. Or on the other side, sticking to this identity of a person who is productive and is always trying to do something. Once again, friends, the illusion of temporary productivity versus long-term consistency and sustainable effort, which demands internal stability. It demands that you are not dysregulated. It demands that you are not distracted. It demands that you are not emotionally disrupted. Which doesn't mean that we will always be, and that we need to always be in the best mood to get things done, that we need to be happy to get things done, that we need to feel like getting things done in order to get things done. No. As much as we cannot brute force productivity, we also cannot wait until we feel like being productive. However, a base level of inner stability is necessary for real deep work and real effort. Let me know in the comments, does this idea make sense to you, or does it go contrary to what you have been taught about willpower and discipline? I'm speaking on this from personal experience, years of teaching myself how to get things done with something other than willpower, and also helping people to do the same. So far, I've never met a single person who didn't benefit from expanding their vision of their inner resources. I didn't meet a single person who didn't benefit from me pointing them to the fact that there are other things, not just willpower, that there are other inner resources to be used, that we can approach our inner resources more skillfully. So let me know in the comments your experience with getting things done, your relationship with willpower versus more sustainable approach, more skillful approach, more creative approach to your inner resources. And as always, I will be here to continue building on this, because all of us can get things done. As always, friends, stay strong, love life, never feel sorry for yourself. Don't rely just on willpower, because you possess much more than that. Light that raging fire in your heart, and always go beyond. Thank you.